Thank you so much, Saisha. Wonderful to see many youngsters here today. I mean, to talk to youngsters is always quite energetic, and then it honestly gives me a lot of happiness. First, let's try to understand like anxiety kya hai, stress kya hai. First, we need to understand the difference. Because हम fear, anxiety, stress, worry बहुत loosely use करते हैं. Depression also, like हम बोल देते हैं मैं बहुत depressed हूँ. So, I mean, what exactly does this stress and anxiety mean? First, let us try to understand. जैसे इन्फेक्शन की चिंता है, घबराहट घबराहट है, परिजनों की स्वास्थ्य की चिंता है, और व्हेन ऑल दीज आर बिकम अ पार्ट एंड पार्ट्स ऑफ लाइफ, वो जो हमारा जीवन का जो शैली है, जो रेगुलर लाइफस्टाइल है, द रेगुलर एक्टिविटीज है, and the sleeping patterns, there are a lot of changes that keep coming, especially during this pandemic. What exactly has happened? Like it has created an anxiety. Before that, let me tell you what is stress and what is anxiety. Stress is related more to the external situations, like I have some work to do, I have some work to finish, right? And there is something that is put up here, like we are having a lockdown here, so मुझे 10 के पहले सब कुछ तो करके वापस आना है, so I have a big list of things to do. So all the things that are related, the feelings of helplessness, hopelessness, or worry, or things related to the external situations, it can be called stress. Anxiety is something that is related more internally. Like, what if I'm infected? Oh my God, my neighbors are infected. तो मुझे भी infection आ गया तो, or if I lose a job, or probably because I fell sick, I could not write my exams well in case if I fail. So any kind of feelings that is more associated to the internal situation, it is called anxiety. That is related to the external situations where there is something that is creating that feeling in you, that is called stress. That's the first difference. Secondly, so all of us at this point of time during the pandemic for the past 1.5 years, we all have become victims of little fear, irritation, anger, hopelessness, helplessness, uncertainty. We really are not knowing what exactly is going to happen. So this is a consistent excessive worry that keeps coming to us. Like let us say somebody is sick, admitted into the hospital, we are worried what will happen to them, especially during the second wave. So all these anxiety factors that are really caused within us a fear of uncertainty. There are certain ways that we can overcome that. We cannot absolutely overcome that, but we can control that. Little anxiety is important, because agar wo anxiety hi nahi hai, will be very very casual. We will not follow the protocols of COVID. We will not be with a mask. We'll probably roam around all the place, call our friends and then keep talking to them. A little anxiety in a way is good. A little stress in a way is good, because stress helps you in completing the things on time. A little anxiety will make you good because you will be protective about yourself. But if something goes beyond the control, then that is the problem. So what do? You have to just check. अगर आपको एंजाइटी इसलिए है, आप बाहर जा रहे हो, आप बिना मास्क के बाहर चले गए हो, then you are anxious, that is good, because at least you will not go out, you will come back, wear your mask and then go out again, which is good. In a way it's good. But let us say that आप घर पे ही हैं, you are totally protected, but despite that you have a fear, you have a fear, you have a hopelessness, you have your mouth is dry, you're sweating and you feel heavy, and then your heart is beating faster thinking about certain things, and you're not able to sleep, and you're not able to focus. Especially students ke liye focusing is very very important. You're not able to focus on your academics, and so under these situations, I'll tell you what exactly are the various things that you can follow. First comes with the food. Let me tell you why. Most of the times when we are stressed, when we are really tired or something, when we are able to eat good food, that gives us a psychological happiness that, yeah, my tummy is full. I had some good food. Let us say your mom is making so many varieties of your choice, like which you really love eating. देखते ही आपको भर जाता है, you feel happy, you know, without even eating that. The reason why, because it is a primitive need of survival. When the whole human race has started, one of the most important primitive needs was food. So when you are anxious, just ensure you are eating your food, well balanced nutritious food. Try to avoid all the whites like your maida, like your sugars, because all these things give you an instant energy and then keeps you drained after some time. Go and eat a lot of fresh fruits, probably nuts, probably dal, chawal, jo bhi hai, with less oil, and then have nutritious food. And also, second thing, if you feel you're anxious and you are in the same room, confined to the same places, try to change the furniture of your space, of your room. You might ask me, ma'am, changing the furniture, how does it help? Because your mindset is so much used to that given system. The moment you are enter that space, you start having that same feelings again and again. Change the whole infrastructure or whatever is their possibility with the best thing what you can do. शायद आपका टेबल इधर से उधर डाल दो, नहीं तो आपका बेड का डायरेक्शन चेंज कर दो, or probably put some good things onto the wall, or do something where there is a feeling that you know you are entering something new which is giving you a feeling of good. Because I'm lost and I'm stuck here, instead of that feeling I'm having something new will give you a feeling of goodness. The third most important thing is exercise. Exercise is very important because your inner mind makes your outer mind. As simple as that. Inner world is what makes your outer world, and vice versa. Even your outer world makes your inner world. If you're keeping your body fit, there's a lot of endorphins, the positive hormones that enter your blood, and then that makes you happy, that gives you peace. And second thing, and stay connected with your friends. You're physically isolated, but you're socially connected. So use that technique to stay connected. And fifth thing, don't get information overload. because आजकल ये व्हाट्सएप यूनिवर्सिटीज और गूगल यूनिवर्सिटीज का इतने सारे इंफॉर्मेशन बाहर आते हैं that you see something and you feel it is so real and you start believing that it's real, that causes more and more anxiety in you. So stop that. Avoid that information overload. Reduce the smartphone addiction. Because smartphone से क्या होता है, you develop virtual relationships. ये virtual relationships की वजह से most of the Facebook relationships or social media relationships are hypocrisy. They are not real. I try to show something very beautiful. I just put a beautiful picture of me and then I don't show my real picture. So because I just heard a joke from someone has gone to for a reunion of Facebook friends, and they said that most of them could not recognize the people because they were so different in pictures to what they were appearing in real. So this is as simple as that. And it unnecessarily gives you a competition, or it gives you a compulsion of doing something on the phone, which can impact your sleep. Because smartphone usage, as per a study, it has said that it has led to more and more loneliness and depression. Because you feel so helpless, you are not in the real world. आप एक virtual world में है. Virtual world में you see everything so beautiful, which is not really possible to meet up to the expectations. So have a phone free zone. आपका काम ये है, फोन तभी लेना है, when you only go to that space you will take the phone. इसका मतलब ये नहीं आप वही space पे रहो all the day. Just go there and stay at different spaces. So I think these are some of the things that, and because when you're anxious you tend to become very fast. You tend to be helpless, and then you'll be so anxious and moving here and there, restless. So cool down, calm down, don't be a part of all the activities, do certain things what you can do. So I think probably one more thing you can also have, probably go for some antioxidants in your food, or probably some aromatic oils, something like orange oil, lavender oil. Just put them in water and just have that good steam with you. Have some cool time, that's slow time, me time, where you can be all to yourself. So I think, and then most important thing, there are 4 to 5 questions that you need to ask yourself. Whatever anxiety you have, try to understand the trigger, try to understand what is creating that anxiety, and then try to really practically, don't think as yourself. Don't think like Saisha is answering this question. Saisha idhar hai. Saisha has come out and she's trying to answer this question as a different person. So is this really likely to happen? जो भी मेरा सोच है उसमें सच्चाई कितना है? सो जो भी इन्फेक्शन हो रहे हैं, टू टेक द केस ऑफ पैंडेमिक, जितने लोगों का इन्फेक्शन हो रहा है, रिकवरी रेट इज ऑल्सो वेरी वेरी हाई. Recovery rate is also very very high. Even for the people who have the highest rate of lung infection, there are cases who have very successfully come out. So instead of thinking negative, try to pull your thoughts, write down these questions. Will this happen? Why it happened? It will not happen. And then what is the worst that can happen? Also make a note of it. I think once you have a control on different thoughts in your mind, you will know how to really control your real time situation. I think आपका question तो एक liner है, but if I have to say, I have to take a 1 day class on this. So I'll end here. So just keep these things in mind, and then I think this can give you a better confidence, like how you can really do the things much better.
It is really very helpful. I think these are some very basic things that all of us can try to incorporate in our lives, and they may create a very huge impact in that way. So, another question I would like to ask: what all negative impacts can stress have on our body? Like, it affects the mind, but how can it physically affect this?
Okay. So if you really talk about what are the various negative aspects that on the body it can have, first, the energy becomes low. You'll have headaches. You're anxious. You might feel something is going in the stomach. There is something that is happening. Sleeplessness. You'll have some burning sensations, and because your immunity is low because of all these things, so you might be frequently falling sick. You might be sweating. You might have problems with the thinking process because you are not able to concentrate on one thing. So, in your thought process, in the way you do, there can be a change in the behavior, because any behavior will have an emotion. That emotion will have a context, and why you are behaving that way can impact your social relationships. That can also impact the way you are maintaining relationships with your own family. So if I have to say there are many things. It can have an impact. The negative emotions can have an impact on the physical self, on the emotional self, on the social self, on the psychological self. So these are all the various impacts that a negative thought process can happen. That is the reason why I said, whenever there is a negative thought in the mind, that 4 questions what I asked you, you have to immediately you have to have it on the wall in your room. And then keep answering that. Okay, I have this negative emotion. What do I do? How do I handle this? So this, because that thought leads to a feeling, that feeling leads to a thought. There is a cycle. That negative emotion cycle is just moving on and on and on and on and on. Kuch ho gaya to what will happen if something happens? So instead of thinking what will happen, if let us say that why not, if something doesn't happen, then I'm happy. So the best way to control negative emotions is to just divert your attention first from that thought, because that thought leads to feelings, and that feelings leads to thought. That is a continuous process. So divert your attention. That's the first thing you'll be doing. Second thing, focus your attention on more onto something that you really enjoy. When you have negative emotions, you might not really want to listen to a music or dance, but force yourself to do that. When you're forcing yourself to do that, you become a better person. So, and third thing is whenever there are a lot of negative emotions that become a part and parcel of your life, take a notebook and start writing every day. What are the 3 happy things that you have seen? What are the 2 happy things that you have heard that made you really happy? What is that one thing that really made you feel good as far as the taste is concerned? Use all your 5 senses. Use all your 5 senses, because kya hota hai? When the mind is flooded with negative emotions, we tend to see the positive things that are happening in our lives. Negative emotion ek hi rehta hai. Let us say that you had a wonderful breakfast in the morning made by your mom, and your friend calls you up and says, "Hi, how are you?" And you had a good chit chat, and then probably you did all the things, and there is one negative emotion. Oh my god, my results are going to come, so what do I do? So the whole mind would be revolving around that result. You have forgotten that you had a good breakfast. You have forgotten that you had a good chit chat with your friends, and you have forgotten that you had some good time listening to some music, and the whole mind is occupied only on that. So whenever you have negative emotions, just let me tell you something. As long as the negative emotion does not become real, that the chances to become positive emotion is equally high. There is no point in just slogging around on that negative emotion and then feeling that अगर ये हो गया तो क्या होगा, as जब तक वो नहीं होता है, it has equal chances of becoming good as well. So instead of falling onto that side, why not we fall on this side, and why not we count the happy things that has happened to us in the morning or in the past 1 week? The past 1 week, as I told you, if you can just make a note on what worst can happen, अगर एग्जाम में फेल हो गए तो you'll write again. That's it, simple. I tell all my students the same thing. The person who is the most successful person is the one who has at least failed once. जो हमेशा पास होके आते हैं उसको मजा ही नहीं है लाइफ में. You have to fail once in life, which is good, which is beautiful. You know that Surf Excel ad. What is that? What is that Surf Excel? Daag acha hai. Sometimes negative things are good. It makes you realize the positive things, and that is okay. कुछ नहीं होता है. Not that you have to be good every time. No, not required. That's okay. That's okay. अगर कुछ problems है तो रहने दीजिए. You have to be in the problem. एक बात बोलती हूँ आपको. If you don't feel the negative emotions in life, if you don't feel the negative emotions at least frequently, or at least sometime, you don't really appreciate the value of life. Up, you'll start feeling bored with life. Negative emotions, see, once somebody is failing in exam, वो पास होने का मजा अलग रहता है. हमेशा पास होते जाओ मजा इतना नहीं रहता है. Is it not? फेल होके पास होने का मजा बहुत अलग है. That happiness and joy is something everlasting. But something, I don't mean to say you all should fail in the exam. I'm trying to tell you, if there is a negative thing that is happening in life, it has a purpose, it has a meaning. You learn the lesson from that negative thing. Learn the lesson from that. Once you start learning the lesson, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि I'm not encouraging you to invite negative emotions ताकि you will learn lessons. Now, if something happens, there is a way you handle the situation. And second thing what you have to do is, if you just sit back and think, maybe you're all 15, 16, 20, probably, I mean around that age, right? Around that age, some 17 to 20 or something. Just sit back and think, at least once in your life you faced a negative emotion and how successfully you have come out of that. You start writing that. Let me tell you, when you faced negative emotions, what were the feelings inside you? Gabrahat, shame, guilt. You felt bad. You felt, अरे ऐसा नहीं होना था यार, all my friends have gone and I'm still like this, right? All that feelings. And what did one thing that you do that you have come out of it and you have become successful, and write the emotions again. आप कैसे feel कर रहे हो? आप बहुत happy, right? If you're writing this, you will be confident that anything that comes my way, I can handle. I can handle. All you need is that happiness, that positivity, that kind of confidence that you can do something in life, right? So I think these are the few things that you can just think of. Start doing that. आप डरना नहीं है. डरना नहीं है. Shame मत feel करो, and then don't feel guilty about it. There is a learning. Let us see if there is a negative emotion. What is that you want to learn? And come out of it. होने के बाद आपके बेडरूम में चिपकाओ. This is the negative emotion and I have successfully come out of it. I am the most successful person. Probably put a heart on that. हो गया काम. That's as simple as that. Because you need to learn. That is how you grow. अगर negative things नहीं है तो let me tell you, life will be very, very boring. Very, very boring. You can't lead it, and boring life leads to depression. Right? Did I answer your
Yes, and
question?
I agree with that. It actually, that it actually even motivated me to look out for the positive things in my day and just sort of phase out the negative ones. Ma'am, before we move on to the next question, somebody in the chat mentioned, uh, entered by the name of Ship India, that the same thing has been happening to me for the last 2 days. My head is feeling very heavy, and I'm also afraid of what to do and what not to do. There is only one thing going on in the mind. So, could you give any advice on this?
Acha, this is with relation to the negative thoughts, is it?
Yes, ma'am, I guess they mentioned in the chat a few minutes back.
Yeah, okay. So, okay. First thing is that 4 questions, make a note of. What is that thing that is troubling you? Because whenever you are in a state of negative emotion, let us say, for example, some of your known people are sick, or some of your known extreme far people are sick for some reason. There is an anxiety that is inside you, which is troubling you, that is creating a lot of negative emotions in you, that is making you feel helpless. आप एक 4 प्रश्न का आप जवाब दे दीजिए. Number 1, what is the real trigger that is troubling you here? That you will be infected, or you feel that what would happen to the person who is sick, or or how can you be away from the person if something negative happens, or what exactly are the reasons for it? First, the question, what is that thing that's troubling you? आप बैठ के थोड़ा आराम से सोचिए. What is that one thing? Secondly, let us say that you feel that you would be infected, or you feel helpless, or you are not, because most of the times जो negative emotions हैं, negative emotions का context if you really look into, most of the things का एक reliability factor या realistic factor तो बहुत कम रहता है. It is only a fear that is actually troubling you. It is a fear, and human mind has a tendency of getting attracted to fear. The reason why, let me give you an example. Every life on this earth wants to survive, right? Wants to protect themselves or herself. Let us say this emotion fear was not existing at all in this world. So if there is a fire, what would we do? We go and jump there, right? If there is an infection, हम आराम से जाएंगे. गवर्नमेंट कुछ भी बोलने दो यार, कुछ नहीं होता है. Let us go. Let us see that. Okay. So this fear element, or that feeling, whatever is inside you, is actually doing good to you. But when you don't look at the analytical part of it, why am I getting this fear, and just have that emotion of fear in you, or that emotion of negative emotion in you, you become helpless. So, first thing you need to sit, understand, why am I feeling heavy? What is the reason? What is that one thing, or two things, or three things that are troubling me? आप लिख लो पहले एक पेपर पे. Once you start jotting it down, then you know, अगर अगर let us say infection से डर है, or you feel you may fail in the exam, or you feel somebody known to you is admitted in the hospital, जो भी fear है, rather than thinking that something would happen, why don't you think they will come out well and good? That way you are passing the positive energies to the person. डर होने से अपने आप भी नेगेटिव हो जाते हैं, एंड वी आर आल्सो गिविंग नेगेटिव एनर्जीज टू द अदर पीपल. हमको ऐसा नहीं करनी है. सो व्हाट वी हैव टू डू इज, whenever there is a fear, whenever there is an anxiety, whenever there is this kind of a negative emotion that is coming in, then force yourself, because there is a very beautiful technique called priming. You fake it till you make it. You know what? There is an experiment done by the Harvard psychologists. You know what they have done? It's called the pencil experiment. They have put a pencil between the teeth without the lips touching. Okay, it would be put like this. This expression is a feeling of happiness. Yes or no? When you stretch your lips like this, what does that expression mean? Happiness. You know what mind thinks? Because these muscles are stretched, the mind starts thinking, oh, this lady is happy. So it starts releasing the happy hormones into your mind. It starts releasing the happy hormones into your mind. And they also did one thing. They put this pencil vertical on the lips, that giving that sad face. Then the mind started thinking, oh, something is wrong. Something is very, very wrong. You have to fake it till you make it. First up, analyze करो आपकी problems क्या हैं. Second, you might not really be happy, but smile. Just smile. Once your muscles are expanding, the smile muscles, or just or in the functional process, it starts sending signals to the brain. She's happy. Come on, let me now push in more endorphins. And as I told you, go for a walk. Don't sit at one place. Don't sit at one place. Just go for a walk. Do some deep breathings. And if you're really not able to control, and this feeling is consistent for more than 2 weeks, then go and seek a medical help. Go and definitely seek a medical help. But till then, at most, because you're all youngsters, you're all small kids, you can handle most of the things. You can handle, unless until it is beyond your control, that you're not able to do that, and this feeling is consistent by little changes in your lifestyle, by little creating little changes, you can actually bring the situation to control. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being with you all.